some Bucks and Raptors in a second, but first, high school dunk contest. Florida State commit Malachi Weidman goes between the legs, literally over somebody for the flush.
The East Bay jumping over a guy who's holding the ball. I think this is a new one. If we've seen it before, I can't remember it. Oh, more of this?
More from this. 2019 Oak Ridge guard Niven Glover gets up with an insane alley-oop to himself.
No, that's a new one there. Around the back, Nick.
Under the legs. Under the legs. These guys. I think it's a 9.5-foot rim. I think that's what's going on here.
Jenna, you know how much force it takes to generate that to bring your legs up? You got an exercise build?
Check this out.
What is this?
Game winner.
Intramural sports off the inbound. Backward circus shot. Bank game winner.
Give me that. I like that. I found this video. Well, I mean, House of Highlights did, but I saw it and I sent it to our staff. I like that.
Where is this? UC Berkeley? Where is this?
UC Riverside.
Okay, Riverside. Okay.
Not a lot of time left on the clock.
I like the co-ed basketball. I like that.
Someone you've heard of. Steelers practice now. Juju Smith-Schuster, peak form, makes the one-handed catch.
Two hands until you get in the Pro Bowl. That's what I tell Randy Moss.
Didn't he make the Pro Bowl last year?
No, Randy Moss, then he made the Pro Bowl. I said, 2 hands till you make 2 Pro Bowls.
Okay, I feel like you're making that
clown. No. He came back with it. What you gonna say now, old man?
Okay. Moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 5 tonight in Milwaukee. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Bucks dropped the last 2. Only the second time this season they've lost 2 straight games. They have not dropped 3 in a row yet, and they don't plan to start tonight. That is, if they can stop a hobbled and overworked Kawhi Leonard. See, we worried about the Bucks after losing 2 straight?
Yeah, I would be concerned. Yeah, absolutely, because basketball is a game of matchups. And anytime you get into these series, you see teams make playoff adjustments. And the team that continues to talk about the regular season, they miss out on a lot. And I'm concerned about the Bucks and their overall lack of experience. After the game, Giannis talked about, well, we won 60 games. We're going to get back to doing what we do. The playoffs is a whole nother beast in itself. The rules are different. How they play you is different. How people respond to the pressure and their role is different. How the coach is going to coach in this game is different. Bledsoe has been so bad in this series as far as shooting the ball. I'm talking about open shots. He has not performed well. So the thing that makes this difference, and my issue with Giannis is, and his lack of understanding is, tonight in the game, if Bledsoe struggles in the first half, they're going to pull him out. They're going to go with Brogdon. Yep. They're going to go with George Hill. During the regular season, they would never do this. So these younger players who don't have playoff experience, they have to realize the playoffs is totally different. And I expect a sense of urgency from Milwaukee, especially in the first 12 minutes in that first quarter of the game, getting back home. With the reason why they've been the best team in the NBA at home, I expect that to come back. But I'm concerned because they have players that are not playing well, and they don't have the physical matchup. Because to me, Toronto has played more physical than Milwaukee has in the 4 games, Nick.
A series and a season, therefore, can turn like that. The Bucks were in single overtime and then double overtime to go up 3-0 and to end it. Then nothing else matters once you're up 3-0. You are probably going to win game 4 because the other team's spirit is broken. If not, you are winning game 5 and it's over. But they didn't. Giannis fouls out early in that double overtime. We could have been up 3-0, but it's 2-1. And then you get whooped in game 4. And now all of a sudden, it wouldn't have mattered you got whooped in game 4 had you gotten a few bounces in game 3, but you didn't. Now all of a sudden, your season can be on the brink
just like
in
that.
18 hours.
Yes.
Right? And so it is different than the regular season. There is a different level of pressure. There is a different level of all of a sudden, wait, of course, these are all the biggest games Giannis has ever played, but now it's the biggest game he's played by a factor of 15. This is, you go up and down the roster and you're like, who do we know other than George Hill has played in these moments? And the last moment like this we saw from George Hill, he was missing a free throw to win game 1 of the NBA Finals. So nobody's got a lot of great memories in these moments on this Bucks roster. Now, I think the Bucks are the best team in the NBA. I think the Bucks are going to remind people of that today. But I also know this, even in their wins, except for in game 2, they have not been great in the first quarter. And this is a game where if you're down 27-20, that's no big. typically in the regular season, that's no big deal.
Yes.
Just wait for that Bucks third quarter avalanche or second quarter avalanche. But you start getting a little tight, start getting a little nervous, have a couple calls go against you. So there is a level of anxiety that the Bucks will be dealing with tonight that is unlike anything not only they've dealt with this season, but for nearly everyone on the roster that they've dealt with at any point in their career.
And not only that, for the Bucks, for the first couple games at least, it was just stop Kawhi Leonard because nobody else was contributing. And now all of a sudden, game 4, you have Serge Ibaka. Van Vliet actually hit a couple shots. Kyle Lowry came out with big. And Kawhi didn't have such a huge game in that one. So for the Bucks, I think perhaps the Raptors bench has turned a corner. They've got more they got to deal with. Maybe their game plan changes a little bit.
It is true. That's been the story of the 2-game turnaround to get it back to even. Their bench scoring had 3 guys score in double figures off the bench in game number 4. That hadn't happened for the Raptors since 2016 in the playoffs. So you are right. The bench scoring did help. But the one thing Milwaukee has to realize in what they're doing to Kawhi, they have to in tonight's game, they have to have a certain sense of how much do we help them on Kawhi based on his health, and how much do we help to get off on the others? Because the bench players in those open shots hurt them. If Kawhi's not at 100%, you can't have 3 or 4 people in the lane every time he touches the ball. And also you need to realize there's 3 times in this playoff that Kawhi has scored 25 points or less. In all 3 of those games, Toronto has won those games. So even if you hold him down, they're undefeated when you hold him down. So Kawhi has just enough where he's only going to force so many bad shots. It's not game 7 against Philadelphia where he shot 30-something times.
Where he had to.
Like, he's going to take his time and be able to try to make the best basketball play. Milwaukee has to realize how healthy is he, how much energy he's going to exert on the offensive end, because we know Kawhi in game number 4, he was more concentrating on the defensive end.
And that's what I want to talk about here is Kawhi guarding Giannis, because that is obviously creating a real problem for the Milwaukee Bucks. And that is not an indictment on Giannis. It is a testament to Kawhi. I've said for as long as I've been following and covering basketball that I feel like the average basketball fan or analyst overrates perimeter defense and underrates rim protection. The reason I say that is it is only the special, transcendent, generational perimeter defender that can truly take away a transcendent offensive player. You can be a great perimeter defender, and if you're going up against one of the best players in the league, guess what? He's still going to get his 27 to 30. He's just going to do it slightly less efficiently. Kawhi is that outlier. Gary Payton was that outlier, by the way. We saw Gary Payton in 3 games of the NBA Finals against Michael Jordan. Once George Karl was smart enough to put him on Michael Jordan, hold Michael Jordan to 37% shooting, 24 points per game in the finals, because he was that type of defender. Kawhi is that type of defender. So what this means is Giannis will never have a tougher matchup one-on-one than Kawhi Leonard right now. So you need the other guys on the Bucks to adjust. You need Bledsoe to not shoot 10% from 3. You need Brook Lopez to be a less reluctant 3-point shooter than he's been since game 1. And you need to clamp down defensively, because what has carried you to the 60 wins has been the unstoppable force of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's up against a somewhat irresistible object in Kawhi Leonard's defense. Kawhi is one of the greatest perimeter defenders we have ever seen, and Giannis is not going to solve Kawhi. I believe they're going to get through.
Yeah, he's not going to solve him this postseason.
And you know what? As long as Kawhi is that type of defensive player, he is, to me, the best perimeter defender we've seen since Gary Payton or Scottie Pippen. Take your pick. He is the best in a decade in this league. You're not going to solve it, but you've got to work around it to a degree.
And the reason why I don't believe he's going to solve it, because now that Giannis is in the postseason, if you look at all his numbers are down except his rebounding. With his minutes going up, his field goal percentage, almost shot 58 during the regular season, shooting 44 in the postseason. Points a game, almost 28 a game. In the postseason, almost 23 a game. So part of this is, it is an indictment on Giannis, because Giannis got to keep working on his game, because he doesn't have a shot between 5 and 14 feet. And when you're going against someone like Kawhi, that's what he's got to continue to develop. So as he continues to develop, or he wants to be talked about as the best player in the world, that's the whole right now in his game, and Kawhi is able to take advantage of it. Kawhi's not going to block his shot, but he's going to contest, and his anticipation of what Giannis is going to do around the rim has really helped him to hold Giannis
And those
down.
numbers Chris gave, those are Giannis's numbers in this series with Kawhi on him, with the Raptors paying that much attention to him after he kind of ran rampant in the first 2 rounds. So it is a big adjustment, and it's as tough of a test as he's going to face.
All right, Game 5 tonight, Raptors and Bucks from Milwaukee. We'll see how this one plays out. Take a break coming up. Why is LeBron staying out of the Lakers free agent search? That is next on First Things First.
You're just trying to find another way to screw it up.